Hi there, this is Anthony Dina, Global Field CTO for Unstructured Data Solutions at Dell Technologies. I have the pleasure of speaking to you from Orlando, Florida at the Gartner Data Analytics Summit. And I want to talk to you about two things that are worth your attention. The first is the validated data lakehouse from Dell, and then the second is combined with Aible Sense. Let's journey back to the 1970s when data warehouses became extremely interesting. They became the single version of truth that combines many different tables in a structured format to provide business intelligence results that leaders can make decisions. They were effective, they were well organized, and they learned to avoid a lot of the duplicate data. However, it required a lot of consistency and prep, and they weren't ultimately scalable, which, as we learned from unstructured data, became increasingly important. So along came in the late 2000s and early 2010s this notion of a data lake, oftentimes based on Hadoop-based technology. It was highly scalable, flat, cost-effective, but honestly, even though it was built for speed, it became very complex because this is open source, so a lot of individual modules had to be connected together in a reasonable way, and it was tricky for doing a lot of data discovery. Oftentimes people would find themselves in a Hadoopster, not a Hadoop cluster. So the world evolved into a two-tier architecture where we had both. And to be able to communicate back and forth, we would use extract, transform, and load technologies to move the data ultimately from the unstructured element back into the warehouse. But operationally, this is complex. And the continuous engineering made it very difficult and became very fragile, and a lot of risk in terms of failures and data quality. So I'm here to present that the technology of the future is a combined data lakehouse. Now, this is open source technology. It applies a metadata layer with caching and indexing to provide that access to the data science community, data engineers, as well as business intelligence. And so it combines the best of both worlds from a structured and unstructured, semi-structured world. And you'll find that the upstart, brand new data management companies like Databricks or Snowflake are using this kind of technologies, whether it's the Delta Data Lake, which is the open source from our friends at Databricks, or it's Iceberg, which is supported by Snowflake. Either way, this is the way forward. So you're probably asking yourself, why is Anthony getting so excited about open source technology and how this works? You're an infrastructure provider, Dell. Where do you fit in? Well, for many years, we've been validating software stacks on our infrastructure to optimize performance. And what that looks like is there are three basic values. We create value, and by the way, this was audited by a third-party analyst community, that when we do this kind of work, we're 18 to 20% faster in delivering configuration and integration, and we take down the support costs by 25%. The total benefits on average for the population in the study was close to $61 million over 3 years. And it helped with hundreds of millions of dollars in cost avoidance dealing with fraud detection. And we kept the data resilient against cyber attacks through the foundations of Dell PowerEdge, PowerScale, and ECS. And because of the way we do our kind of evergreen loyalty programs, we have future-proofed customers from being trapped into a legacy or technology debt. So let's take a look of how this comes together, both from the open source Lakehouse technology as well as the validated design. What you see behind me is a layer stack where the community, the business intelligence, data science, data engineers, and the app developers all have access to data through the tool chains of their choice. Now, what supports this on the bottom is compute platforms running a technology known as Robin Cloud Native Platform. This is a container-based environment with a self-service layer, allows you to pick and choose the applications that you need. It's app-aware in terms of its storage, it connects with standard Kubernetes, and it's using virtual networking to bring it all together in real time. Now on the right is where the the magic is, where the money is. It's the data, and that lives on either a file system like Dell PowerScale or Dell ECS object. So when you combine those two things together, you get compute and use of all the data types. Structured, unstructured, semi-structured. You can move either on-premise or in a co-location. In fact, one of the hidden secrets about what Dell's been doing over the last few years is that have solutions with rack space, and you can put that data, your data, on Dell equipment in a co-location facility with lightning fast connections to the hyperscaler, and they deal with all the complexity in terms of networking. That's pick your tool chain for that access. Now, you notice that below on the right in the white is a set of infrastructure ingredients and this kind of application tier delivery. But up top in that blue box is a series of software stacks by Intel, such as OpenVINO, Converge.io, and if you choose to move in towards the NVIDIA AI stack, happily support that as well, Kubeflow, and there's more coming. But let's have a look at this application store. So it's going to look exactly like what you would expect from a cloud service provider. You're going to have a console. In this case, it's HDP, which is the Hortonworks data platform as an example. You pick and choose your CPU and memory resources, your data store, how large you want. You click a button and it becomes available to you. But it's not the only thing that's available. You can choose any kind of applications and set up your own catalog for your business intelligence and data science community. So we expect more and more to the marketplace. But I wanted to hit again on something extremely important and very sensitive for many of our customers, and that is cyber resilience. So we have essentially an air-gap solution that provides fast return to operations. Our ransomware defender essentially is an AI detective that sits on the network and looks for malicious behavior, mass deletes, encryption that's happening automatically. And it protects those assets by decoupling the production environment from a disaster recovery-like instance. And so this gives you the ability to get back to operations in minutes or hours versus weeks or months. So what's the value of the validated design? Well, it eliminates the need for separate systems. You can bring it all together in a single location, and you have asset level support. It's uniformly managing the access. You can have self-service and take IT out of the path. And then lastly, you can manage access control through roles or reduce the time to data extract, eliminating that fragile ETL I told you about before. But I want to end it here on Nova Southeastern University, which was a joint solution, Intel in sponsorship, along with our friends here at Aible. And what we did was we focused on one of the persistent problems happening in higher education, and that is retention. First-time students may not return to a second year, but you don't know why. When you take an intelligent platform like Aible Sense platform, pointed at data, whether it's financial, academic, or admissions information, and take all that you can find through their technology, the ability whether is your data ready, what needs to be done to add more variables. And because those models have been well understood, it allowed the university to move into action. Let me give you a quick timeline. You see here on the screen that the time to get to the 17% optimal reduction in attrition took only 15 days. What happened in the 15 days? On the first day, the data was presented to Aible, ingested into Azure, and by day 2, you had some preliminary models ready to be evaluated. The next mystery 5 days was just the human scheduling to get all of the right people in a room. On that day 7, they discussed what were the optimal outcomes. The university provided their own perspective and increased the accuracy of the models, and within the next 5 days had actionable insights on day 13 in order to put counselors in the right place at the right time for those students. Now, the last 2 days was a very exciting time to transfer that knowledge for the Aible platform to the university, so they became self-empowered to get to the value, not only today, but for any future edition. I'm so excited about this technology. I want to spend time with the CEO of Aible and walk you through what happens on that side. So follow me.
Thank you so much, Ant. Really appreciate doing this with
Yeah.
you. Now, it's a great collaboration, like what you were talking about, how you have optimized using Intel technologies. Like we're in the same boat here, Intel partners, Dell partners, obviously. And what we have focused on is how do we make that end-to-end customer experience as simple as possible. So you already have the beautiful data set up in the right way in your environment, already with Intel right there. We come in and we first start out by doing this Aible Sense. And Sense is all about how do I find a signal in your data? Is it clean enough? Where is it not clean? What kind of features we should add to it? Like all the stuff data scientists have to do manually.
Right.
Let's just do it automatically in a matter of minutes. After you've done that in a couple of minutes, then you come into the world of Explore, where we are showing you the key insights. So think of all the charts that a human being could have drawn, hundreds of thousands of charts.
Yeah.
Why do it manually? The AI can do it in 5 minutes, right?
Understood.
So it goes through many, many combinations. It's bringing it up in serverless form, so it's happening really fast at a really low cost.
Yep.
Thousands of instances running in parallel, down to you, and you got the insights in front of you. And you can search through it if you want to go to a specific insight. But the key is you're flipping that equation from the human searching for known knowns to an AI looking for known knowns and unknown unknowns and bringing up that insight.
I'm going to challenge you.
Please.
Because a data scientist is going to want to know what's behind the cover. So,
I love data scientists, so we put everything in Jupyter notebooks and Python code. So if they want to see what the heck the system did, they get to look at the same code that they would get from their colleagues.
Gotcha.
In fact, when we move into machine learning in the world of optimization, same idea. We are helping you understand how your business would be affected by the AI. So in the student retention case, what would be the expected impact of the retention model?
Yep.
But how much effort, retention effort do you want to put in? Because if you don't have enough staff there, guess what? You won't get value.
It's the ROI. You get what's the investment?
It's magical ROI, right? Because you don't consider the cost. So of course ROI is great. In Aible's world, we are actually bringing it down to that real practical reality.
Got it.
And this is why our partnership with Dell and Intel is so important to us, because you gotta have that end-to-end solution working together. And through these partnerships, working hard behind the covers, we make that kind of 1 hour to insight possible, because that ain't possible if you haven't worked with your partners to get the stuff to work together.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Hey,
for being
thanks
a
for the
fantastic-
time. And anybody who's here at the conference, we'd be happy to see you in any of the booths. Or if you can't talk to us because you're so full up on your schedule, come see me, Anthony Dina, available on LinkedIn. You can find
Or Ajit Gupta on LinkedIn as well. Look forward to speaking with you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Thank you again.